Hello, my neighbor. Who controls the job market? Okay, so we got another fun bit today. We have another hot take. Check out this title. What is discriminate? All right, so this one's gonna be fun because this one is on my heart because I've been brought up in a very racist environment, and I didn't know how racist it was until the whole world showed me how racist they were because of how they categorize people. And it's very, very interesting. It's sad at the same time too, but I don't like racist people, even though I know people sometimes are racist because this is just how they see the world. And I mean, it's cool, it's fair, as long as you don't block me from doing what it is that I need to do in order for me to get out there and earn. I'm cool. But the moment that you start blocking me in order for me to get out there and earn, I'm not cool. Okay, I'm not cool. And this is why I don't like people who discriminate based on characteristics. Okay, even though I know everybody does it. Now, before I go, I want to give a shout out to the Civil Rights Division for showing us employers hiring patterns and practices. Okay, so there's people who look for employees, and then they're called the employers. So the employers have a certain pattern and practice on what type of employees that they're looking for based off characteristics. Okay, based off constitutionally protected characteristics. And that's not cool. But I really appreciate the Civil Rights Division for getting out there and putting in that work and showing us which employers are doing these things. And there's state and there's federal employers that are doing these things also. There's what you would call private employers, registered companies that are doing this too. And we don't like this. Okay, we don't like this. But that's why I appreciate the Civil Rights Division. Thank you for your service, and thanks for this jump off bit. Now, let's go ahead and hop on this hot take. We're going to make this one tight. What is discriminate? Okay, so I'm going to show you some words. I'm going to show you some terms and some conditions, and you and I, my neighbor, we need to agree on these so we can be on the same page. All right, so then that way we're not hiding. Okay, check this out. Discern. Focus on the words and focus on the highlight and the underline. All right, discern. Discern is to separate. Discern is to distinguish. Discern, to separate by the eye or by the understanding. That's what we do, so we like to discern because we separate things based off of what we see and what we understand. Okay, and that's cool, and I'm fine with that, right? Because this is how I'm able to protect myself, from doing things that I'm supposed to do and doing things that I'm not supposed to do. Okay, all right, so this is how I get down. It's either sin, death, end, or right, life eternal. I don't like the sin because I don't want the death and I don't want the end, right? What I want is right, life eternal. And that's why I follow Jesus Christ. All right. So I'm always going to tell you where I come from. But I know that people, when I tell them who I am and what I am and who my king is and who do I serve and who do I work for, they don't like that. They like to put me in a box, and then they say, we won't touch that one right there. Okay. So I'm going to show you what they do. Drop down. They discriminate. So I'm going to show you what discriminate is. And check this out. So discriminate and discern are the same, but different. It's really cool. Look at this. Discriminate. Discriminate is difference. Discriminate is distinction. Discriminate, to distinguish. Discriminate, to observe the difference between. You see that right there? So discriminate is to observe the difference between, and when you jump up, discern is to separate by the eye or by the understanding. So that's why they're the same, but different. Let's keep it going. Discriminate, to separate. You see, another same bit. Okay, so discriminate and discern are the same but different. Discriminate, to select from others. Discriminate, to mark with notes of difference. That's what you do when you discriminate. So all people, we all discriminate, right? We all discriminate. Now we discriminate because that's how we like to categorize the world. You know, like some people like Apple products, some people like Microsoft products, other people like Android products, right? But people discriminate. They get to choose which one they like. They like, I like that one because this one provides me with this benefit and that benefit. Or I like that one because of the benefits that it provides me too. So we get to do this. So all people discriminate and all people have discern. We're able to discern. Okay. Now drop down and check out this word right here. Diverse. We like this one too. So diverse is different. Oh, so diverse, discriminate, and discern are all the same but different. They're the same, but different. So when you diverse, you have different. Just know that, okay? So I'm diverse from my wife because my wife is different from me and I am different from her. All right, let's keep it going. Diverse is various. Diverse is multiform, okay? Multiform. So there's multiple forms, right? Me, I only come in one form. The form that I come in is man, right? Because I come from the dust and I'm going to go back to the dust. So this is the form that I come in. I'm always going to present myself as man, as one of the people, as a Christian, okay? That's how I get down. Now I know other people, they can be diverse because they can present themselves as he, she, or they can present themselves as they, them, right? You know, they can present themselves as all sorts of interesting things, and that's cool. That's fine. That's fair. However it is that you want to present your person, you can do that as long as you don't interfere with me being able to access the market. Okay. Once you interfere with my ability to access the market, then you're going to be breaking the law, and we don't like that. That's why we appreciate the Civil Rights Division right now, okay? Now, drop down and check out this bit right here. The People's Resource Department. Okay, so we're showing you the People's Resource Department because we got rid of the Human Resource Department because the Human Resource Department, to me, is just not cool. It's not a cool term. We don't like that term because it's so far away from what we are, you know, because like I'm man, I'm one of the people, right? You know, with all political power, and I love it, right? But when I go into a place and it says the Human Resource Department, I'm like, oh, are you calling me a color man? Right? Because hue is color and then man. So you got color man, right? So right there, Human Resource Department, it's racist. It's a racist division off the rip because it's gonna categorize you based off of your color. All right, them just be the terms and the conditions, man. Now check out this bit right here. So we're pulling a provision from one of our constitutions because this is what we like to do because we teach all nations the words as written. Now check this out right here and focus on the highlight. It says a person may not be disqualified from entering or pursuing a business, profession, vocation, or employment because of sex, race, creed, color, or national or ethnic origin. All right. So right there, we have it written in our constitutions, right? You cannot stop people from getting work. You cannot stop people from doing work because of their sex, their race, their creed, their color, or national or ethnic origin. All right, so sex is man or woman, male or female. That's what that means, okay? Race is whatever it is that you want to call yourself. So if you call yourself a hyphen man or a hyphen woman or a hyphen person, you know, like some people like to say, I'm black, right? Other people like to say, I'm white. And then that's what they call their race, okay? Other people like to say, I'm Hispanic. Or other people like to say, I'm Latino. And then that's their race. That's the race that they categorize themselves under, okay? That's cool. You can do that. Creed means what you think. So the way that you think, you can think how you want to think, and nobody can block you from your person getting access to work, okay? Color means, you know, the human, the color of your skin. So that's why we always say human resources is racist because they're looking at you because of your color, because hue is color man. All right, put the terms and the conditions together. All right, so people like to put people in boxes because of their color, like how they say, are you black? Are you white? Are you yellow? Are you brown? Are you red? Right? These are all the different terms that they have for or color terms that they use for people. But you can't tell people they can't work because of what color they are. National or ethnic origin, that's just where they come from. So like me, I'm an American. So I come from America, the United States of America, specifically California. So I'm a Californian, right? So people can't stop me from working because I'm a Californian, right? Now, some people like to be from, like there's a whole group of people in America that like to categorize themselves off of Africa. So they call themselves African Americans. That's an interesting term, okay? Because they took the whole continent. And then there's other people who like to say, I'm European, or there's other people who like to say, I'm Mexican American, right? So you have all of these different places, or Russians or whatever, right? You have all these different nations, right? And then those would be the ethnic or the national part where they come from. And you can't stop people from working, right? Just know in America, you are free to work. So it doesn't matter if you're a man or you're a woman. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what color skin you have. It doesn't matter where you come from, right? Your bloodline can come from wherever it is that it comes from. You can work. So nobody can block you from working. So this is what happened. All right, let me give you a little backstory. Is that there's companies out there that are doing the opposite. They're saying we need to increase our quota because we don't have enough people who look like this or who look like that are working for us, right? So they're still doing the same thing. They're disqualifying people because of what they look like. They're saying, we have too many people that look like you. We need more people that look like them. So we're going to stop hiring people that look like you, and we're going to hire more people that look like them. That's what they're doing right now. And they call it equity. They call it racial equity. And we're like, wow, that's very sneaky and that's very subtle. But, if you don't understand the terms and the conditions, and if you don't understand that you're using protected characteristics to hire or not hire people, you're breaking the law, right? And there's all sorts of people out there who think that they're doing the right thing, but you guys are breaking the law. And you're going to find out in the end who has all political power. So I'm going to drop down. I'm going to show you my job description. Okay, here's my job description. I love it. Check this out. All political power is inherent in the people. Full stop right there. Okay, so this is my mic drop that I drop on all my public servants. So that's any constitutional creature. That's any legislative entity. That's any executive entity. And that's any judicial entity. Okay, so when I match these two bits, so when I say, hey, look, public servant, I have all political power. And by the way, when I go online and I look at this website right here for this business that's operating in our commercial market, they're using racial equity to hire people or not hire people, right? So they're using protected characteristics to operate in this realm, and they can't do that, right? They cannot do that. They're being very sneaky and they're being very subtle with it. Can you investigate them, and can you make sure that they clean that up? Because we don't want that in our market. We are not a racist people, okay? This is what we like to do, right? So we just walk around and then it flies over a lot of people's heads because people with these protected characteristics, they think that that's what they should be getting. They think that they should be hired because of what they look like, right? And that's not cool. That is not cool. Or where they come from. That's not cool. Or what their ancestors went through. That's not cool. So we can't operate like that. We need to operate on your skills, right? So if you have the skills to do the job, then you're cool. If you don't have the skills to do the job, but you have a protected characteristic, and then we need to fit a quota because of that, that's called racism, and we don't like that. Okay, all right, so that's my secular job description. Now drop down and I'm going to show you my spiritual job description, because this is what I was created to do. I was created to get out here and teach all nations. All nations are all people. So one man is a people, one woman is a people. When you put them together, they're called the United States. And we love showing the United States how to get down in my Father's realm. Okay. And this whole realm, this whole world is my Father's creation. Therefore, it is my Father's realm, and I am an ambassador. Okay. That's what I like to do. Now check this out. For the scripture, that's the word of God. For the scripture saith, thou, that was you, that was me, thou shalt not muzzle the ox that treadeth out the corn, and the laborer is worthy of his reward. What does that look like right there? That looks like you can't stop people, and you can't stop people's tools from working, because the muzzle, the ox is a tool. It's an animal. It's a beast that the people used to work back in the day. And the laborer, that's what we would call the worker. Okay. We like to show you these terms and these conditions, but even in my Father's word right here, we don't discriminate, right? We don't discriminate based off of characteristics. So a laborer is worthy of his reward, even though he may not follow my Father's word. Okay, because the ox isn't following my Father's word, but he treadeth on the corn and he works. So the ox is going to be rewarded too. All right. So we reward workers. As long as you can do the work, you're cool. If you can't do the work, you're not cool. If you harm the people, you're not cool. We don't like that. And then you can't hang out with us. All right. So that's why we run our governments the same way too. We just use more words to show you how it's the same, but different. All right. So we're done with that job description. Let's walk it back up now. So I just wanted to show you that the people have all political power. So, don't be afraid when I present myself to you if you're one of my constitutional creatures, or if you're one of my statutory creatures, or if you just are one of the businesses that operate in this realm. When I present myself to you, just know that I might be here to help you, because I want to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. I'm what you call one of those undercover bosses. Okay. So I like to walk around and then see how people are operating, and then I make sure that you're operating according to our constitutions. If you're not, we're going to instruct you. And if you don't listen, we're going to break you. Okay. All right. So then I wanted to show you that the People's Resource Department, and then I wanted to show you the protected characteristics. The protected characteristics that you cannot discriminate against. All right. So you cannot disqualify people because of, what they look like, or what gender or race that you can't discriminate on people because of their sex, their race, their creed, their color, their national or their ethnic origin. All right. So that covers all the boxes right there. All right. Remember this, and we're going to be cool. And then I wanted to show you what diverse is. And then I wanted to show you what discriminate is. And I wanted to show you what discern is. They all mean the same, but different. Remember this, and we're going to be cool. Now you cannot you cannot stop people from working, right? You can discriminate all day, all night, because this is what we have the ability to do. You can look and you can see and be diverse all day, all night, because this is what we have the ability to do. But you have to be able to use discernment, proper discernment, and you have to follow the rules as written. And then that's why we wrote them down in our constitutions. And also my Father wrote it down for us in the Word, in the Holy Bible, King James Version. That's what's up. Remember this, and we're going to be cool. And that's that hot take on what is discriminate. So now you know that. Put that in your back pocket. Never move from that position. And I guarantee you will bring down your stress levels a whole lot. Okay, my neighbor? All right, so we're done with that bit. Let's hop on our next slide. Conclusion. Here's our closeout game right here. Trust God. So I'm going to say this from now on until my Father taps me out. Trust God. Put your trust in God. Put your property in God's trust, and I guarantee you will bring down your stress levels a whole lot. Okay, because then everything's going to be super easy for you, because all you're going to have to learn how to do is dress and keep my Father's property, because my Father is God, because I've been washed into the family through the blood of Christ. And what's God's property? This whole world. What else is God's property? Every man is God's property. Every woman is God's property. So this body right here, this ain't my property. This is my Father's property, and I just administer it. All right. So that's why I know how to execute all political power, because I know how to be a legislator, I know how to be an executive, and I know how to be a judge, because a judge is a judicial entity, okay? So I know how to show, right? I know how to follow, and I know how to make, okay? Remember this, and we're going to be cool. All right, so just remember, put your trust in God so you can bring down your stress levels. All right, so we're done. Let's go ahead and walk it back up now. So I just wanted to give a shout out to the Civil Rights Division for showing us employers hiring patterns and practices. Okay, now we know how the employees, or not the employees, but the employers are hiring people based off of protected characteristics. You can't do that, right? It doesn't matter how you dress it up. It doesn't matter if you call it racial equity, whatever thing it is that you want to call it, diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? If you use protected characteristics to hire or not hire people, then that means you're breaking the law, right? And it's real simple. And we have divisions, the Civil Rights Division in our Justice Department, to be handling this. And if they don't handle it, we're going to circle back around to them and make sure that they handle it, or we're going to break them too, okay? Because remember, the people are on top, right? The people are on top. All right, by God with love. Let's keep walking it back up. Then I wanted to give that hot take on what is discriminate. So remember, you got to learn how to separate, so you got to learn how to separate the people are on top and our constitutional creatures are on bottom. That's discrimination, but we're not using protected characteristics. And then I wanted to talk about who controls the job market. Remember, the people. We control the job market, okay? Not our governments, but the people do. Not the employers, but the people do. Okay, so the people control the job market, the people control the employers, and the people control the employees. Once you understand the terms and the conditions on this bit, you're gonna be cool, and I guarantee you're gonna bring down your stress levels a whole lot. Okay, my neighbor? All right, so we're done. Thank you. I'll see you in the future. By God with love. And remember, nobody's having more fun than us. Bye.